The Tonight Show, starring
Josh and Krista.
This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severinsen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's
Johnny.
It's a pretty good intro.
It's a good intro.
Somebody should use that professionally.
I don't know. Maybe our regular listeners, if there's any out there anymore, they will.
There used to could be.
They'll miss the old intro. It's coming back.
Yeah.
Start with something. We're back from summer break.
We're back from summer break, but it feels like summer in your office, in the studio. Sorry.
Summer? Oh yeah, because it's hot.
Yeah, it's sweaty in your studio.
Sweaty.
It's hot up in her.
It is hot. It's very
But
hot.
that's all right for the people, for the fans, if there are any.
Well, here's the deal. We got some new microphones set up here, so hopefully the audio is a little better. But it is so hot that we have our window open here in my office, and
You're going to hear the sounds of 5 points.
Yeah, you can hear the sounds of 5
It's
points.
a terrible intersection, and everybody honks at each other.
That's right. That's right. They are putting we've talked about this before, I think, but they're putting a roundabout in there.
That's right.
And there's a lot of people upset in Grand Island, Nebraska.
It's just such you don't have much going on if that's the thing that's got you upset.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Not a
gonna
lot
be
happening in the town
It's going to be so much better.
to frustrate. Yeah, of course it
So
is.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've established people in the Midwest don't know how to use a traffic circle, but it still will be better. I sat at this light for, 12 minutes today, just waiting to go through.
It is. It's a bad light.
It
It's a
is.
bad light.
Look forward to the traffic circle.
I bet since we've recorded last, I've had no fewer than 5 almost accidents at roundabouts. But the one by the Hy-Vee here, the grocery store.
It's a good one. It needed to be there. People don't know.
They don't know. They don't know how to use it. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Crazy to me. Yeah. Just they'll sit and wait and.
I was coming in hot to a traffic circle in another town, and I saw another vehicle in the traffic circle. So I just did a little tappy tap on the brakes, so that
Tappy.
just a little tap-a-roo, so that I would end up behind them in the circle, just without having to really slam on the brakes or anything. Well, she freaked out. She thought I was coming right at her, so she stopped. Right? She thought I was going to hit her, so she stopped, so that I would hit her. If I kept going. So I stopped, and she's like yelling at me, even though her car windows are up, and I'm outside the traffic circle. She stopped inside the traffic circle, and she's yelling at me. I can't hear what she's saying. Yeah. And I just give her a little wave like, please just drive. You just go. Go ahead, lady.
I don't get it.
It's weird. It's weird that it cannot be understood.
Yeah.
It's a conundrum.
My wife on her page was saying something about how she was excited about it or something. And she got kind of lit up by someone that she knows. It was kind of like, no. And they are spending too much. They're spending like a crazy millions and millions of dollars on a roundabout, which should not be that much.
But that's road construction. That's just pumped full of all kinds of extra money. Right? I'm sure there's a Midwest mafia.
Yeah.
And they get paid off to do the construction, just like anywhere else.
I feel like with this mic, we should be doing like an NPR style, because it picks up all our breaths.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome
to the smooth.
The reason I haven't been here for 6 weeks is because I was recovering from hot wings, from the Hot Ones Challenge.
Was that the last one we did?
I think so.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I still have some extra sauce packets.
Don't
of Hot
want
Ones.
it.
Yeah.
No.
We need to figure out.
Thank you.
What to do? Have you seen?
I'd do it for money.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
What about this? So Sonic has 2 new. Maybe you know what I'm saying, but
I don't.
Sonic has 2 new entrees.
Okay.
One is a dill burger. It is a pickle burger.
That's gross.
And one is a pickle slush.
Why?
Don't know, but
gross.
It'd be interesting to see you try those.
You have a wastebasket nearby because I will vomit.
Yeah.
Pickles, no bueno. Not for this guy. That's the worst thing. I think I'd rather do the Hot Ones Challenge again than eat pickles.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah. That's how much I hate pickles.
So shortly after, we both traveled a little bit this summer. Shortly after our last podcast episode, I thought, and maybe we talked about it, I don't even know, but I thought it'd be a good idea to rent my family a teepee for 2 nights. Not one night.
It seemed when we talked about it, I was excited for you.
Yeah,
I'm like,
seemed
man,
like it'd
the
be
boys
fun.
are going to love it. You're outside. You're going to have the Native American teepee experience.
It started off as a disaster from the get-go before we left our house. Like, we were fighting, everyone was arguing, we were packing. We wanted to hit the road and get there and explore, and it was like 2 o'clock, we're still home, still packing the car, trying to get everything in, trying to do the overhead compartment. We look like, is it the Clamperts, or what are they on Beverly Hillbillies? Clampets. We look like that. Like, we had stuff on top, stuff behind, stuff in the car. Like, it was crazy. And we were going to stay in a teepee. So we finally get there. I think it was
2 hours away, right?
Yeah, 2 hours away, near Omaha.
Need all that stuff?
And we get there, and all of a sudden a storm is rolling up, and it's supposed to storm. So we're like, we should
But it was hot too, wasn't it?
It was 107 degrees that day. We pull up.
Perfect day to sleep in the
Oh
teepee.
my gosh. We pull up, and so we're thinking, you're going to pull up to the teepee just like you would a cabin or something.
Yeah.
So we pull up, and it's 107 degrees, and we have like a lot of stuff to carry to the teepee.
Yeah.
It is probably a quarter-mile walk through this big field and then down to the woods.
Yeah.
And so we carry everything out there, and that's when we find out, there's a storm. It's about dinner time. We're like, there's a storm coming. So
with 5 kids.
By the time we get everything set up, and it does start a little before dinner, it starts to rain. And then they had given us instructions for if it rains, you can close up the top of the teepee. Did not have the things you needed to close up the top of the TV attached to the teepee, and the office was closed at that point.
Oh, perfect.
So
that's the way it should go.
And I had gone in earlier in the day, about whenever we got there and saw the teepee, I had actually gone in and asked about a cabin because I knew there might be a storm coming, but it was like 40% odds. So anyway, we're sitting in this teepee before dinner, just kind of waiting out just a light sprinkle, and we're getting wet with a light sprinkle.
Yeah.
And we're like, it's supposed to downpour tonight, possibly. Well, then at about 8 o'clock, I'm actually cooking dinner. And I'm cooking, and the storm is like 99%. And
so it's not only 107, now it's humid because the storm's coming in?
And we had bad storms the weekend before, like a few days before that, where it was like tornadoes touching down.
Yeah, we had some tornado
and stuff.
warnings, right?
Yeah, so it was, it was that kind of weather.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be out here with a teepee with my 5 kids with that kind of storm.
What corner of a teepee is the safe corner in a tornado?
I don't know, man, but we were like sitting ducks out there.
Yeah.
And so I pulled Susan aside. I'm like, can we just go get a hotel? We didn't really have the budget for a hotel. You
were on a teepee budget.
We were on a teepee budget. It was like $15 a night.
Right.
Which they never did refund me. So we go, and finally I'm like, screw this. But here's the problem. If we leave, we have to pack up all our stuff, and we have to then go fit it back into the car.
Yeah.
So we decide, you know what? This is a state park. We're going to keep some stuff here in the teepee, like our bedding and all that.
Oh, really?
We're going to take our luggage with us. So it's still like 2 or 3 trips out of this, walking it back to the car, shoving it in the car. We got to the hotel at 10:30 that night.
Oh, man.
It was about a half hour away, and we were exhausted. We all went to bed. I don't know that the storm ever hit because it was kind of dry when it must have rained at some point, though, because we did come in. So the next morning we get back. We hope that our stuff's still in the teepee because all our bedding, my new grill was out there. Like, it was just, we had stuff in there.
Yeah, you just broke camp.
In the middle of the teepee, I had put a couple things just to see, would it get wet tonight? It was soaked. So we would have been all just soaked.
Right.
And there was, water all the way around the teepee.
But you ended up in a room with air conditioning.
We did, and it was way better.
That's a significant requirement for me.
And there were no bugs. And then the next night, because we had it for 2 nights, and I just told Susan, I'm done. I'm done with this kind of vacation, and I'm sorry we're going to miss out on the experience, but we'll explore the park today, and we're going to another hotel tonight, and we did. And it ended up being nice. We hit the zoo and all that, but oh my gosh, that Tuesday, July 5th of this year, was like the worst day of my year by far. Yeah. Hot, carrying stuff.
It was so hot that week.
Oh, it was.
How nice was it beginning of this week? It's like 67 degrees was the high. That's so good.
Yesterday was amazing.
Yeah. Now it's hot again.
We're old talking about the weather on our podcast.
We're old. Weather and food. Restaurants. Pickles. I had a terrible hotel experience
Oh.
while we were on break.
Where did you go? You've been a couple places.
I've been
right?
a couple places. So the first, I knew I was going to be in motels on the motorcycle trip.
Yeah.
So I had been trying to convince a guy to go on the trip who went last year, and he said he wasn't going. He's actually trying to sell his bike, and I was steady after him. I really enjoy this guy, his company. He's just a super cool guy, and I was sad that he wasn't coming. So I just was kind of every few days, every week, just hitting him up, and it was no. I hit him 2 days before the trip, my final attempt, and it was still a hard no. And that next morning, so we were leaving on a Tuesday, I hit him hard on Sunday. It was a no. Monday morning, he called me and said, I'm coming on the trip.
Whoa.
But what that meant was they had already canceled that room. And everything was booked. So we couldn't get another room.
Yeah.
And so I had told him, if you come on this trip, you can have my bed in the motel, and I'll sleep on the floor.
How many nights is that?
It was Tuesday to Sunday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 5 nights on the floor. So
I couldn't do it.
So, and he tried to jump on the floor, and I'm significantly younger than the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Here's what happens. If you roll with guys that ride Harleys, they're generally older guys.
True.
Because those are the guys that can afford a Harley.
That's true.
Right? And I'm on a borrowed Harley.
Yeah.
I'm driving your dad's bike.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he's coming on the trip. I'm going to honor my word. I'll sleep on the floor. And so I did. And he tried a couple times to say, hey, I'll take the floor tonight. But I don't feel terrible about that. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't let him. And in fact, the last night, he's like, I got the floor. I told him no. And he said, don't make me hurt you. And he is a little bit smaller than me.
Yeah.
By a lot. And so I kind of laughed at him. And,
he's pretty ripped, though. I think he could.
He's a tough guy, but I think maybe he holds his own for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway.
He might know Kung Fu. You never know.
Yeah.
He's like a guy that would know Kung Fu, actually.
Well, he's military.
Yeah.
Right. He's former military. But I felt pretty confident. So.
I'd bet on you, but I'd also put a little side bet on him. I'd be double dipping on the bets.
Bet the under. Take the under. Like the Kentucky Derby. That guy won 80 to 1 odds, right? I should have put a couple bucks on that one.
I don't know. I don't follow.
I don't either, but that was crazy. So anyway, so I had the floor for 5 nights, and I knew it. I anticipated it was going to be fine. But then shortly after that, we were taking my son, Zeke, to soccer camp at Marquette University. He was invited to participate. And so I wanted to book like a nicer hotel. He wanted a weight room for the first night, a pool, and a hot tub.
I can't imagine wanting a weight room for a hotel.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. So I found one that had all that. I was spending a little more than what I had originally anticipated.
You're treating yourself.
And it was the Country Inn and Suites, which
They're
I had
nice.
stayed in before. Yep. Nice, good breakfast. This place was garbage.
Oh, I hate that when it's a good brand. You know it.
It's a good brand. Of course, I've been fooled by photos of hotels before, but it was the brand. I had been there. I'd had that experience. So now I think I just got to go Hilton.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Hilton.
Right. So we did Country Inn and Suites for several nights, and then we stayed at a...
It ain't the Hilton.
It was late coming back, the last night coming back, so we were trying to find just a motel on the road, and I found a Motel 6 that looked all right. And the first room we went into, I'm like, it's kind of hot in here, and I pulled the filter out of the air conditioner, and it was frozen.
Oh.
So I went to the lady at the desk, and I said, hey, the AC condenser's frozen, so we need a different room. And she's like, I don't understand. I said, the condenser's frozen, like there's actual frost on it, so it's not blowing cold air, so we just need a different room. And she said, it's summer. How can it be frozen?
Oh, my gosh.
I said, I can show you, or you can just, it frosted up. Like there's frost on it. It's not working great.
Like you're... Oh, wow.
And so we went to another room. AC was on. It was pumping. It was cool. And Motel 6 kind of upgraded their brand. It's still a motel, and it's like no frills, right? Yeah. But there's no carpet, right? Yeah. It's like the luxury vinyl tile stuff.
Luxury vinyl.
Well, that's what they call it. It's vinyl tile.
Yeah.
And like your floor.
Yeah.
Here.
This is luxury.
It's luxury vinyl tile. And, it's kind of clean. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's Motel 6. But and I was exhausted, man. It was late, and Zeke was making his bed or something, or Honey's like, let's check for bed bugs. And I'm like...
How do you do that?
And I don't know.
Are they big enough to see?
I have no idea.
Huh, I don't either.
And so they see a centipede in his bed.
No.
And so they both freak out, and Zeke's and Honey's like, we got to change hotels. We got to leave. And I'm like, I have no energy for that. And Zeke's like, I can't sleep in that bed. You didn't see this bug. It was giant and it had 100 legs. I said, fine. You sleep with your mother, and I'll sleep in that bed. And Honey was like, you're just going to get, and like I just got in the, like I didn't care. I got in the sheets and same blanket, same sheets, went to sleep. And she's like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I am so
Eventually
tired.
you hit
Nothing matters.
You hit a limit.
And I said to her, I said, look, I've heard that you eat 7 spiders a year in your sleep. Like this centipede's going to be no different. Once I'm asleep, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
And so she would look over at me, and they like bundled up. They like went like full Eskimo, like so that no bugs would get on them, because I guess it looked gross, right? And she's like, I don't know how you can do that. I said, it's just exhaustion. Like you just find a spot.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, have you ever had? I mean, I've told you a story about the spider that landed on me in the middle of the night, right?
I don't think so.
Middle of the night, I'm laying there. It was probably like 6 years ago or so. I'm laying there and I'm fast asleep. A spider lands on me and starts crawling up me, and it's a big enough spider that wakes me up.
Like it landed on your what part of your body?
I think my leg, and then it went up to here, and I felt it like up
on your chest.
And I instinctively went like this, and grabbed it, and I just threw it.
Yeah.
It lands on Susan. It's a big enough spider that it wakes her up instantly. And she wakes up and does that with the pillows, knocks it off of her, and we never found it. We don't know how big it was. It was in the middle of the night.
I love that you grabbed the spider off yourself and threw it on your wife.
I just threw it. I didn't know where. I'm just surprised I threw it. And before, like, it was all instinct because it was like, I mean, it happened within 3 seconds. All that. And we never did find it. So I don't know how big it was, but it was big enough that it woke me up walking on me. I mean.
We did a mission trip when I was a youth pastor, and we were doing a little construction project in the Adirondack Mountains, and this spider came out of the ceiling. It was a big one, too. And I had 2 hammers, and I was like, I'm going to kill this spider. And I just went like, pop the 2 hammers together, and I got spider guts straight line down my face. Like a lot. Like it was a juicy, juicy spider. Right on.
I started playing the kids got this game called Kill It With Fire for our Switch, and it's all about killing spiders. You go around, you get a thing of hairspray and a lighter, and you're like lighting it on fire, and it'll have babies, and it's a little creepy. But
you got to tell your kids not to do that in real life, though, right?
Oh, well, unless it's big enough.
The flame goes back into the can of hairspray and blows up.
Oh.
So you got to do it in bursts. Then maybe just teach them that. Just do bursts. Don't hold the flame.
I mean, we did that as a kid.
I did it all the time. But I watched a kid have to throw a can because he watched the flame go in the tip, and he had to get rid of it, and it blew up.
Oh, I never saw that. Your wife was
Robbie Baranowski.
Oh.
How that name came back to me?
Well, he sounds Polish, so obviously we screwed that up.
I wonder what's up with Robbie Baranowski today.
Probably an arsonist.
Maybe.
If I had to take my guess.
Yeah.
Your wife should have been an arsonist. I remember her. So
she would like write her name with flammable liquids and stuff.
We would go to a pastor's conference every year with my parents. They were in a mission, and so there was 300 pastors and their wives and families would get together every year, and your wife would go on this big brick wall at night and write her name in hairspray and light it on fire at a pastor's conference.
And she's definitely the only one there named Honey.
That's true. I never thought about that.
So she scorches her name into the side of a building, and you think, I wonder who did that.
She was always around causing mischief at those. Pastors' kids are notoriously the worst.
Yeah. I like that about her.
Yeah. She's crazy. Well,
she still is
I'm
crazy.
sure I've told the story about
But it's a good kind of crazy.
It's
an endearing crazy.
There was a elder at our church growing up. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a real jerk to my dad. And I bet I'm 7 years old at this point, which put her at like 12, or it's probably around there.
Yeah.
And we knew, because we could hear their meetings sometimes. Like, we knew that this guy was being a jerk.
Yeah.
He was causing our dad a lot of problems, and he lived near us, not too far. So we rode our bikes to his house one time, and we just rode. This is probably really bad, but remember, we were little and we were pastor kids. We rode around.
Statute of limitations has passed.
That's right. It was over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And we rode around in circles in front of his house with our middle fingers in the... Daisy, if you're listening,
did he see
no
it?
ideas. Oh, he had to. I don't know. I don't know if it ever got.
You never
back
got in
to my
trouble
dad.
for it?
We were also doing yelling a poem that I won't repeat on air, but it wasn't very good either. So
sorry, standing up for your dad.
Yeah.
I like your style.
It was we'll have to ask Honey if she wants me to cut that out. But it's been a long
She's
time.
good with it. Yeah, 30 plus years ago. If I detailed what I was doing this day 30 years ago, you'd be horrified.
Your wife. Now that we're telling stories about your wife, hope she didn't care about this one. But
this episode's all about you, wifey.
In middle school, do you know what she would do in middle school at the end of the day?
Every day?
I don't know if it was every day, but
like irregularly during middle school. So she's in middle school, not you.
Yeah, she's in middle school,
okay.
Probably 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah.
And the locker room had it was like in the middle of this section. So you had lockers in the middle and then like a hall on each side of the lockers.
Yeah.
And her and this kid Josh, they would go on each side one would be on each side of the lockers. All kids are at their lockers.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're all getting their homework stuff,
right.
And Honey would yell, "Honeymoon!" And they would both moon all the students.
And she did that regularly in middle school. That's perfect.
I don't know how regular it was, but yeah, it definitely
more than
happened.
once.
Yeah, more than once for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if she ever got in trouble for it. Like, that's a funny story, too, right?
Well, the
like
funniest...
having the conversation with the school administrator, like, why is your butt out 3 times a week?
And we had teachers and principals that, like, went to our church and knew our dad.
Yeah. No, yeah. And she still does it.
She's still crazy.
I like it.
Yeah.
So this motorcycle trip I went on was just phenomenal.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, you should have, man, we should have figured out the sidecar or something.
We should just go back. I want to go.
Yeah. I want to take my family. It was crazy. So obviously Yellowstone was awesome. Chief Joseph Highway was a great ride on a motorcycle. We went up to this thing called Beartooth Pass, which is over a mountain, and it was closed at the summit. Mm-hmm. And we had to kind of ride through like road construction. So here's something I learned about myself, that I'm quick to pull the ripcord. I'll be like, not worth it.
Yeah.
Like if it's a
you
line,
are that way. Yep.
If it's a long line or whatever, something frustrates me, I'll just pull the. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm
that way
done.
too. I do that too.
And so we're driving. It's like we're trying to get up to this summit, and there had been, like in Yellowstone, there had been floods and a lot of rain in the beginning of June, and
fires too, right, or something.
Yeah, roads had been washed out, so there was a lot of construction. So you have to ride through the gravelly part of the construction on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable because you're just kind of wobbling all over the place.
I'd hate it. Yeah.
And so we're driving and it's so slow. So on a bike, you got to go like at least 10 miles an hour, even on gravel, just to kind of maintain your balance. And so you're not pulling the clutch all the time and shifting. And so the cars in front of us are going too slow for bikes. And so your clutch and brake and feet down and feet up and wobbly. And so halfway through this gravel road, I'm thinking, this is retarded. This is dumb. We should have never done this. I'm thinking it. I'm not saying it to anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, this is so stupid. It's not worth it. It's not going to be worth it once we get up there. So dumb. It was so worth it, man. Yeah. We got to 11,000 feet. There's still snow on the ground.
It's crazy.
In July.
Yeah.
Like the wildlife, like mountain goats ran across the road one time. And it was just, it went from like 96 degrees at the beginning of the ride to 56 degrees at the summit.
Oh, my gosh.
With snow on the ground. So it was crazy. So that was an important lesson for me. Like sometimes I'm too quick to pull the ripcord. I got to be a little more patient because it'll pay off.
Well, I had the opposite experience. So your son had gotten us tickets to this, like free tickets to this circus.
The
that was
water
in town.
circus, right?
The water circus.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, cool. There was a big long line the night that we went.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can bypass the line. I got my tickets right here.
Yeah.
So I walk up to the into the circus tent. You get in, you start to smell the air.
Yeah.
And you go up to ticket people, and they're like, oh, yeah, we can't do this. You got to go wait in line and get a seat. I'm like, I have tickets right here. She goes, no, these are just the tickets to get through, and then you got to actually pick a seat. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go wait in that whole line. So then immediately I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Let's go home.
But they're free tickets.
They're free tickets. And I actually didn't know they were free. I thought Zeke probably paid something for them. So that made me want, like, oh, I feel obligated to do this.
Right.
So we get in this line, and we're going through, and that's when I start to look at the tickets, and I'm like, they are trying to make us pay something. There, it's not going to be
just
free.
the way it's worded on the ticket, or what?
Yeah, it's just, and everyone's, no one's speaking English there. Not that I care about that, but it just seems like not everything's on the up and up.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to get some gringo money. And so they're not going to let us in free. They're just not in the business of giving free circuses. And sure enough, so my wife's kind of like, no, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm done. She's like, all right, we'll go home then. I'm like, well, I'm not going to just go home.
Yeah, I'm not going to
I'm not going to leave you with 5 kids. So I said, all right, well,
even though I really want to.
Oh, I wanted to so bad. I was trying to convince everyone. So then we get up. I said, why don't you go up and haggle with the ticket lady? And sure enough, it was going to be like expensive for us to go, even with free tickets, because they didn't honor some of the free tickets.
Kids are free, but adults pay $50 a piece or something.
Either or. And then if you do the cheaper option, which seems cheaper, then you got to buy the more expensive. It was a racket. And so they were trying to, even if you have free tickets, that's how they get you out.
And I bet they were getting the people that were standing in line for an hour with their kids, like they're not going to bail then.
Exactly. Well, yeah, your kids have already seen it. They're excited. You're going to pay the $80 or whatever the heck it's going to be. And I was not that dad. And I said, sorry, kids, we ain't doing this. And so I had the opposite experience where we should have pulled the cord. We should have backed out. And
okay, so it doesn't always work out.
It doesn't always work out. Sometimes you should pull the cord.
But it happened several times on this trip where I'm like, this is dumb. And then it was totally worth it. So that was a good lesson for me. And it was nice and cool. We're riding in the mountain. I mean, a couple hot parts of the day. But compared to the previous year, we went south. We went to Arkansas. And we had 106-degree humid days riding. And one guy almost bailed on the trip because he was heat stroke, heat exhaustion. Yeah. And he was able to get cooled down, and we stuck with it. But there were some miserable parts. Even though the trip was awesome a year ago, there were a couple hours of it that were kind of misery. This time it was just phenomenal. Yeah. It was so good. Glacier National Park, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I've known several people, and just in the past couple of years, I've known probably 6 or 7 people and families that have gone up there, and the pictures that come back with, they're just...
Pictures don't even do justice. I took a bunch of pictures, and they're beautiful, but it's not like standing there.
Well, it's like you're in a painting.
It really is. It's I told Honey, it's like driving in a painting. Yeah. We rode our motorcycles through there, and...
I didn't even know you told Honey about that, but that's what I've heard.
It's and it's so enormous. It was amazing. So and I do it again. I want to maybe rent a Jeep or something with a convertible so that you can have the top down and
people say it's the most beautiful place in the country.
It's got to be. I've never seen anything like it, and I've been all over the country and seen some pretty amazing sights in this country and in other countries, and it is the most phenomenal place I've ever been.
I want to move up there.
It was unbelievable. I said to the guys, I think this place is so huge. I don't know that if you were on foot, you could explore all of this in your life.
Oh, really?
It's so massive.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. We were, so there were 7 of us, everybody on, 6 Harleys and one guy on a Goldwing, so he catches a lot of grief. But we stopped for lunch in Yellowstone. There's one place to eat in the national park. And we got our food and we're hanging out for a little bit, and we're getting ready to get back on the bikes. And so all 7 of us are kind of getting our gear stored where it needs to go and getting our stuff on. And this lady walks by, and she's kind of a smaller lady. And as she walks by, I catch her eye, and I'm just going to kind of give her a hello or whatever. Yeah. And she looks at me and stops, and she goes, I really wish you guys wouldn't ride through this park and make such a nuisance
with
your loud bikes and ruin it for everybody else.
I wish you wouldn't open your yapper and ruin my lunch.
And she said, but I guess what can you do? And I thought, first I just said, well, thanks for sharing. And she walked away, and one of the other guys was like, what'd that lady say? And I told him. And I was like, that's actually kind of bold of her. She doesn't know us. She doesn't know what kind of bikers we are, right?
Yeah. She doesn't know you're from a church group.
We could have just thrown down right there. But yeah, she was upset that there were motorcycles in the national park.
Maybe this is not right of me, but I beg for opportunities like that in my life. Whenever they come along, I'm just...
Well, here's the thing. So I think of that too.
I love it.
But on this trip, I'm leading the group of guys in devotions every day.
It's true.
And I was talking about the first day was how to extend mercy to other people.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. And so now we're getting tested.
That might be something that people don't realize. We know it because you've preached, you've been a preacher. Yeah. I was raised in a preacher house. People don't realize that what you are preaching about
You get tested.
And that's
on
a
it.
way. Yeah, you get tested on it, and like so.
It was immediate.
I mean, I remember my dad, because I was really into like occult stuff, and like I wasn't in the occult, but like I was learning.
Like wanted to know.
Yeah,
you were
wanted to
intrigued.
know.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad saying, "Hey, look, be careful what you're like getting into, even if it's be careful what you're preaching on. Be careful, like because So he had some stories. Maybe we'll bring him in for the Halloween episode this year and have him share some of his
Freak
stories.
us all out.
Yeah,
It's good thing you got a red light in the corner now.
That's
That's freaking me out. Thanks.
Yeah, we can turn all the lights out. We'll make it. Yeah,
That's something to look forward to.
Good idea. That's coming right up. Basically,
You can watch me wet my pants on our live feed.
I can't believe that lady said that to you.
Yeah. And so it's funny, like I talked about Mercy that first day and we get back on the road and we stopped like at these amazing like scenic overlooks and would have a little chat.
Yeah.
And so of course something happens after every time.
Yep.
And everybody has CBs on their bike so you can talk to each other while you're riding. And so something happens on the road and the lead guy gets cut off and they hit the brakes and he's like,
yeah.
He throws his hands up, and he comes on the CB. He goes, "They're testing my Mercy up here." So,
True.
but it was a great trip, and I mean, I'd do it again. I'd go tomorrow if I had the opportunity. Glacier National Park.
That's on my number. It's my number one thing that I want to go to.
We gotta go. Yeah, it's awesome. And I saw these crazy RVs on this trip.
Oh, really?
They're like 30-inch mud tires on, like they look like RVs that'll just ride through anything. It was crazy. Like it's like a big van type of RV.
Oh yeah.
But they're like 4-wheel drive, giant tires, and
I know what you're talking
you could
about.
just kind of go wherever you want in that thing.
I follow a couple people, but one guy in particular on Instagram that's like his life is taking pictures, and so he has one of those. It's like a big red van, kind of transit vehicle, but he put these big tires on. Yeah.
It's great.
He goes all over.
Yeah, I mean, you could just drive wherever you want, whatever conditions, the snow, mud, like you'll just go.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
This guy, because you went to Whitefish, right? Montana?
We started in Cody, Wyoming, and I don't remember what part of Montana we went to, but Glacier National Park's like 30 miles from the Canadian border at one point.
So this guy, the guy that I follow, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'll try to remember for next week, but he could live anywhere. Like he's made enough money. He chose up there where you were, right near Glacier National Park. I believe Whitefish. That was in the whole country because he's lived in North Carolina, Nashville, had beautiful houses, and just said, "Screw it, I'm going to Montana."
It's crazy. I mean, you can't live in that national park, but it's like the most beautiful place ever, and it's just waterfalls everywhere you look too. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, not to poo-poo on that story, but
go ahead.
Is there anything worse than bad internet?
It is frustrating, isn't it?
The internet here this past 2 weeks at my office here, it's like so bad. You'll get into something, so like, oh, nope, you're done. You're done for 30 minutes. And then it'll come on for like 5 minutes, tease you, and then it's like, nope,
it gets so bad, it's like worse than when you first got internet and it was dial-up. Because with dial-up, you kind of knew it was going to take forever and ever and ever to do something. And so you could start the process and go do something else.
Dial-up, strangely more reliable sometimes than Wi-Fi.
Net zero. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had some trouble at my office, too, and they've been calling. And I guess they admitted, for the last 3 weeks, I think.
Maybe it's all connected.
And they admit it's hard to get the internet service provider to say, yeah, it's our fault, but it is.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, and the hard part is it's not like it just gets slow. It just stops.
Yeah.
And
as far as that is.
And so we're all so reliant on it, right? Everything's cloud-based for us.
Yeah.
So I can't really do much in my office once it goes, because I can't access a lot of the files. I can't get to, like, the software that hosts all our photos.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot. And so I can't communicate with the printer, like, because it's all through the router. It gets, it's so dumb. But it shows you, like, how quick we've become totally reliant on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't do anything without it. I told Susan that you might as well work from home because...
if we're home and the internet goes out and I'm not on a device, I know about it in 3 seconds because there's somebody going, what's wrong with the internet? Yeah. Right? Somebody's connected to something. Like everything we watch on TV is streaming.
Yep.
Everybody, like your phone, everything you do is through. It's crazy how reliant on it. So it was kind of nice on the trip, right? Like there's a lot of places I didn't have internet access.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have phone service, so the phone's not ringing. And
it's not bad when you're playing, when you know, okay, I'm going somewhere where I may not have
right.
access.
When you're trying to work and you have to be connected.
And
that's frustrating.
You're in a small metropolis.
Maybe we should go be park rangers.
I'd be down.
There's probably a waiting list.
Two Broke Park Rangers podcast. It'd be awesome. I do have a major announcement.
Really?
That's the wrong.
That sounds like a sad announcement. Bum, 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 bum.
Chicken wings.
Is that DJ Khaled?
That's right.
Another one.
And another one. Chicken wings. Price has gone down.
Really?
Pre-pandemic prices is
pre-pandemic pricing on wings?
I did read it on like MSNBC.
Does that mean they're available?
Yeah, I've been seeing them.
So what happened?
I don't know.
How do you just have a chicken wing shortage for 4 months?
Well, now we have such a plethora that we have more supply than demand. You know?
Did you say plethora?
Yeah. People think I'm not smart just because I don't look smart.
Isn't it pronounced plethora?
Plethora.
I like the plethora.
I like how I was saying how smart I was, and then you had to call out that I said it wrong. But I think I said it. I said it the way I wanted to say it, so I'm not wrong.
It's the plethora.
Plethora.
Yeah.
Plethora effect. I'm going to go make myself a quesadilla because I have a plethora.
So there's excess chicken wings now.
Excess chicken wings now, I guess. So the price has gone down.
I might go get chicken wings on my way home then.
I still want to try, is it Wingstop? And you said it was no good.
I mean, I went there the first week they opened. I know that's dangerous at a new restaurant because they haven't had stuff figured out. But, man, I could not have been more disappointed than I was.
Well, I had another friend that just went to one in Maryland and said the same thing, like it was the worst wings they've had.
The best wings I've ever had, America's Best Wings in the hood in Maryland, right outside of D.C.
Yeah, I mean, hood wings are the best wings, hands down.
Fried hard.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. We had a place outside of our college that it was like everyone went there. I can't remember what it was called, Good Luck Chinese or something like that. It wasn't wings, although they did sell wings, and everything was banging. But it was that thing where you spend it was like $5 or something, and all the college kids went there because it was cheap. Mm-hmm. It was outside of College Park, so we'd get kids from our school and then from University of Maryland.
Right.
It was so big. They give you so much food that couldn't have been chicken because they were only charging $5. They would staple the thing shut. They would staple the styrofoam.
Yeah. There was another place in the hood. I think I mentioned it on the podcast, and I wonder if it's still there. Morty's Fried Chicken. Back in the day, my dad would pick up Morty's Fried Chicken on the way home, and it was just
I would go on chicken. The name alone.
Good. It was good.
Morty's anything.
Yeah.
I would go. I'm in on M.
Right. Yep. That's how I mean, when I pick like a pizza spot, I'm looking for kind of a greasy, dingy pizzeria because I know that pizza is going to be
Frank's
amazing.
Pizza. It's going to be good.
That's right.
It's going to be good.
That's
Frank.
right. Yep.
Frank don't put his name on it if it ain't good.
That's right.
If it ain't good, he calls it just pizzeria.
That's right. Or
Italiano Pizzeria or something. I don't want my name associated with that. Frank, he's like, put my name right there on the front.
Put it on there because this pizza is banging. Yeah.
I haven't had a good pizza in a while.
I got the New York pizza a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
It's the best around, but man, it's a far cry from.
Sometimes,
let's hit Omaha because that is Frank's Pizza in Omaha, right?
Okay, I had better pizza in Omaha than Frank's Pizza. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up. Oh, I was there with your wife. It was right the night before my dad's surgery. We're all in Omaha.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what was it called? I don't know. It was so good.
Really?
Oh, it was so good. I probably had a whole pie myself.
Oh, you know what I thought about the other day? You talked about going to see Top Gun Maverick at the, what is it,
4D theater.
And the closest one is Wichita?
Yeah.
Do you know I drove to Wichita a week and a half ago?
Oh, really?
Just down and back.
You should have called. I would have gone with you.
It was just I was just picking up material for work that I could not find anywhere in the state.
That's crazy.
Sold out in the whole state. Closest place was Wichita, and I had to have it the next day. And I'm like, all right, I'm going. It's one of those things where you desperately do not want to do it, and I'm like, because it's like 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
It took me 4 hours to get to the store. It took me 15 minutes to load the material. It took me 4 hours to get home.
Oh my god!
And I had been at work for 3 hours already. Like it was just.
You should have at least drove around and looked at BDK killer sites. BTK.
Nope.
No.
Down and back.
My wife thinks I'm weird because I'd like to do that.
Sightsee where people died?
Nah, it's just, it's historical. I'd like to see his house. I'd like to, that stuff fascinates me. So
who's BTK?
The guy, you don't know BTK? So for like 30 years, no one could find him. He was killed sporadically in Wichita.
Really?
And then
for 30 years?
Oh, dude. So he started in I think it was the late 60s, early 70s, and would just get killed. Like his first killing was a whole family. I'm sorry if you're a kid listening, earmuffs. His first killing was
Cover
a
your ears,
whole
baby.
family. And then from there, he would, a single mother and he was just around Wichita and no rhyme or reason, just around town. And then he took the late 80s and 90s off. And then
he took it off.
Yes. And then he came back, started doing it again.
Did they find him?
So here's the deal. They found him in the mid 2000s, I think 2003, 2005. And what had happened was he was playing a game with the cops, and he would leave these cereal boxes because he's a serial killer. He thought it was funny. Yeah. He would leave notes and clues and stuff, and he was doing that around Wichita. So there'd be just a stop sign with a cereal box taped to the back, and someone reported it, and it would go to the news, and it was this whole thing. He's playing a game. Well, he got sick of doing the prep work. I mean, he's been doing it now. He has to be an old man, even if he started young. So he asked the cops. He said, "Tell me the truth. Don't lie to me. If I use a this 3-inch floppy disk, not the floppy ones, but the ones that said, if I use that to communicate with you, will you be able to trace me?" And the cops said no. And of course they could trace him.
Right.
So they
I love that he said all right, you have to be honest with me on this one.
He thought they would tell him the truth. And so he puts floppy in. They get a computer guy. He jumps right into the junk file, finds out that this guy is named Dennis.
Oh, he's doing it from his home computer?
Dude, he's doing it from the church computer. He was the president of a Presbyterian church.
No way.
Not only that, he would kill people in the church basement. Dude.
Oh. Is there a movie on this, or what is it?
There's documentaries and stuff like that. And
it's BTK?
BTK. There's actually a 2-hour video where.
So that's how they caught him?
That's how they
with
caught
the
him.
Floppy disk?
After years and years and years. That's how they caught him.
So did he get.
Dude, he's in jail.
Lethal injection?
He had 2 kids that had grown up. He was a normal. He was a boy. So there was one night he was out as a Boy Scout leader with his troop, his son's troop, and he went and killed somebody and came back in the same night. Out camping, he's crazy.
Dude, there are crazy people in this world.
And then he would go to church on Sunday and be like,
"That's nuts."
Yeah, he's crazy. But it's one of those things where it's fascinating to me that you can be that way. I mean, he had stuff in his shed he would save stuff from all this.
Oh man,
yeah, he's crazy. You didn't think we were getting a serial killer talk, but anyway, Wichita.
Right, that happened in Wichita.
I'd want to drive around. He's still in the jail there at Wichita. In fact, so the first family that he killed was a whole family, except for the one son. The older son was at school or something after school, so he came home and found it. It was horrible. But now he drives by. He was in one of the documentaries I watched, and he said he gets to drive by the prison every day and look over because now he's in his 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
And he gets to look and see where the prison where his family's killer's rotting away.
Man.
Crazy dude.
There are crazy, crazy people in this world.
Yep.
That's nuts. Hiding in plain sight, too.
Yeah.
And got sick of doing cereal boxes, so went with a floppy disk.
He'd still be out there if he was sticking to the cereal boxes. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
How many people... There's one...
I mean, he wanted to get caught, right?
I guess.
He aspired for the notoriety. He didn't want to be caught, but he wanted to be known.
There's a YouTube video out there where he's in court and they ask him to describe. He has to go through and describe it, and he does it in such a cold way. There's just nothing behind his eyes.
No emotion.
No emotion. Just goes through matter-of-factly. Yeah, I did this and I did that and I did. He didn't really know how to kill people. His first one, the first family, he didn't know how to do it. So he thought he killed him, and then they all woke up and were running around, and he had to, he had to re-kill. They had to re-kill him.
Jeez.
Oh, he's just such a weirdo, though.
So of all the things to bring up, because I drove to Wichita, you bring up the weirdest, most gruesome dude.
I watch a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, you do.
He is a weird dude, and if you look at him, you just think,
he's off.
He's off.
Yeah.
I didn't have serial killers on my podcast.
Thanks for sharing that, buddy.
I watched another documentary last night. Do you remember, is it Manti Te'o?
Quarterback?
No. He was on defense.
But he got catfished or something,
He got catfished. He had a fake girlfriend, and the big story was it was right before one of the championship games. He was up to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
And then his grandmother and his girlfriend got killed on the same day.
Oh, my gosh.
His girlfriend in a car accident, blah, blah, blah. Well, his girlfriend, they found out later, he didn't even know, never existed. So it's a whole documentary on it. He wasn't in on it. He really got catfished.
Wow.
I feel bad for him because you can tell he's just like a naive guy.
Is he in the NFL?
I think he is still in the NFL.
Because he was in college when that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was up for the Heisman. But, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so you watched that doc?
It's a big deal. It's a good doc, though. It's on Netflix, I think. 2-parter. Real good.
It is football season.
Oh, yeah.
Preseason, which is But, man, I'm so excited for the games to start because it signifies all the things I love. I love
fall.
I love football.
Pumpkin spice latte.
I don't like pumpkin spice lattes. I don't like pumpkin spiced anything, I don't think.
A candle. Right? I'd take a candle.
I don't know. But, yeah, the weather turning cool. Sweatshirts.
Oh, sweatshirts.
Dude, I love wearing a sweatshirt.
I posted the other day. I prematurely.
I saw.
I think it was Monday. I walked out. It's like crisp out. I'm like,
it was crisp Monday morning. Yeah.
I put a big old hoodie on. One that you got me actually. I'm wearing around. I get to my office and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on a second level.
Yeah. Cooking.
It's muggy.
Yeah.
And I kept it on because I'm like wishful thinking.
Committed.
Not gonna. It's hoodie. It's hoodie time of the year. I'm calling it.
Right.
It was not. I'm in a t-shirt now and I'm sweating.
Yeah, it's hot up here, man.
Yeah. It gets hot. I normally have that fan going, but
Sunday football, I can't bring myself to pull the trigger on the purchase.
What is it?
I want a 75-inch TV.
Oh,
because my living room's so long.
Yeah,
the way we have our furniture set up, we have a 55-inch TV.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it is by far one of the oldest flat screen TVs you can get. It weighs like 100 pounds.
Yep.
But it was free. It was a gift. It's high def. And
it was state of the art when you got it.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty good.
Right. Yeah. It was like one of the most expensive when it was new, and somebody gave it to us.
I mean, probably. What would you say when it was new? Like with the cost?
$6,000.
Yeah. So it's
And now it's worth $75.
Yeah, exactly.
Or less. But I just and look, obviously the definition, even though it's high def, right? The definition on televisions have certainly gotten better since then. And so I'll walk through Walmart and I'll see a 75-inch TV and I'm like, dude, I want that thing in my living room.
Every year they go down.
And they're not. Yeah, they're like $500. I saw one for like $560, and I'm thinking, to watch football on that TV in my living room, there'd be no better way to watch that game. But it's still $500.
I bought one because I had to because my kid threw a ball and broke our other one.
Right.
And so I bought one like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And even then I think I spent like $700 and it wasn't a 75-inch. And every year I walk through, I'm like, oh,
they're getting better and cheaper.
Yeah.
Better and cheaper and bigger.
I don't like ours. Ours has a little issue in one of the corners. It's at it where it gets dark sometimes. Oh, yeah. And it's been that way since we got it. I feel like it was probably a floor model that they sold us or something, but I'm too cheap to be do anything about it.
So, yeah, I don't know. I can't do it.
I don't know how to watch the games anymore because I think now they're not doing the NFL app thing. I think you got to buy.
I get NFL Sunday Ticket.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But I stole our nephew's identity to do it, so I get it cheap. Because if you're a college student, it's like.
How do I do that?
It's like $35 or something.
What is it if you're not a college student?
It's like $400.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've looked in.
I think it was $30 a month, and the season's 4 months long or something.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can get my team on TV.
I can't spend $400, but I got to figure out a way to watch the games this year because they're doing something different where it's not all on the app. And I mean, I can watch someone I think Amazon Prime's getting several.
I'll help you steal somebody's identity.
Okay.
I got you.
I'm pretty sure you should announce it on our podcast.
Why? They don't know whose identity.
Frankie Downs listening. Of course, he could probably.
Is he law enforcement?
I don't know what he does, honestly. It's all still
Nobody knows what he does.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Apparently, he's got beautiful feet.
I don't.
He posted something on Facebook this evening when you were prepping and you're like, I'm looking at Facebook on your time.
Yeah.
I popped Facebook open and it was Frankie Down's post saying that his podiatrist told him he's got beautiful feet.
He's like George Costanza. You could be a foot model.
Look at these hands.
That reminded me earlier when you're like, I'm going to Wichita. You ever see that Friends episode where he pretends he's trying to get away from his girlfriend?
I have no knowledge of Friends episodes. Yeah.
So he has this really annoying girlfriend that he's basically decides I need to break up with her.
Yeah.
And so he tells her he's getting transferred to Yemen. And so it gets to the point where he's leaving. He's not really going to Yemen. Yeah. And he gets to the airport and she follows him. And then he has to basically call his bluff. And at the end of the episode, he gets on a plane to Yemen. He's like, going to Yemen. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's a good show, though. You don't like Friends? Not a big Friends fan?
Well, I mean, I have not watched it recently, but I wasn't a fan of it when it was on.
I think it was a bonding thing for Susan and I.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not sure I was that much of a fan early, and then when we started dating, I watched it, and we watched it to the end.
I mean, I could watch The Office every day, although right now I'm back on Parks and Rec because I love Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson is my spirit animal.
I did that last year. I took a break from The Office. In fact, I haven't watched for 2 years The Office.
Yeah.
And I took a break and watched Parks and Rec. Although I got to like the second to last season and never finished. But
just everything about Ron Swanson. That's who I am in real life.
He's funny. Yeah. Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep. You got a mustache. You go, wait.
Yeah, mustache, the love of meat. You take pictures of your steaks. You just say what's on your mind.
Yeah. Bacon.
Yep. Bacon.
All the meats.
Everything about them.
I think it's funny. So Christoph teaches our Sunday school and like our adult Sunday school. And there's a lot of people there that are into clean eating and salads. I mean, we got some health nuts, and that's
they're living right.
Always talking about your diet and how you do not eat vegetables, and I can always
they taste like dirt.
It disgusts them.
Yeah, they're horrified.
They're horrified by you, and I love it.
Yeah,
I love the confliction happening there. Speaking of confliction, I was at McDonald's earlier, and
do you order on the app? You got to get the points.
I got a free mocha frappuccino.
That's right. That's the way to do it.
In
fact, I thought about I told you I had a free pizza.
Yeah.
Today. So I was hungry. I had an hour drive to go look at a house that was damaged by a fire. I'm like, I'm so hungry. And normally I don't eat lunch I don't eat during the day.
Yeah.
I just have a drink and I have Tic Tacs. Like that's my addiction. Tic Tacs and
so
Diet Soda.
You're almost fasting already. You just got to drink water and not eat Tic Tacs.
I hate water.
I do too.
I hate it.
My diet right now is black coffee in the morning and water until 5. That's what I do every day. And I cut off at 10.
That is sad.
It's sad. It is sad.
I need flavor. I need flavor in my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm like, I got to go look at this thing. It's an hour drive. I got to eat. I don't have to eat, but I want to eat.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay to eat.
That's my whole life.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I live in town. I could just go to my house and make a sandwich. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to go unless I have something free on an app. So I go to the Domino's app. I have a free. I had a whole pizza for lunch while I was driving.
I see no problems. You ever just not eat because it's just too much of a hassle? You're like, well, it's too late. It's 9:30.
At night,
everything's closed.
Like if I haven't had dinner and it's late and I'm like, am I going to do it?
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to eat. I'll just eat tomorrow.
I'll convince myself to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's a hard conversation with myself, though.
It
right?
is. So
like,
anyway,
you're going to be fine. You'll make it through. Just go to sleep.
I was at McDonald's, and I witnessed a double offender. So I witnessed a guy. I noticed because I was behind him pulling into the McDonald's, and he had no license plate. And I just hate that there's so many people around here with no. You hear the bugs?
Yeah.
There's so many people around here.
But that's the law. You got 30 days to get a plate on your car.
It's just weird.
Yeah,
it's just
it is weird.
That there's
It's very weird.
Is there that many people buying cars? I think not.
Probably not.
So anyway, he pulls in. He goes around like because I go all the way around our McDonald's and then I park in the mobile lane where they'll bring it out to you.
Right.
I just skip that every time. So I thought that's what he was doing. He's going around. Nope. He gets around half of the McDonald's and ducks into lane 2. Just totally. And it was a long line.
Oh, really?
Just cut everybody off. Just ducked right into lane 2.
People get upset?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Not
really?
one. I would have. I mean, I've almost gotten in a fight twice with people at that very McDonald's, and we talked about.
I
that.
like that you're ready to fight in a McDonald's drive-thru.
That is one thing when it's just blatant, when you're just blatantly doing something
that
to
level
screw
of
people over.
disrespect,
There's nothing that makes me madder, and there's nothing that sets me like. I'm a man of peace. I'm a man of the cloth. I will.
I will fight you in a McDonald's
I will
drive-thru.
fight you at a McDonald's, and I almost have twice, and it just sets me off. I don't know why. There's certain things that just set me off, and that is one of them. Where it's just like, you just cut in front of all those people. You're an adult person,
Right. I love that. I'm a man
Double
of peace,
offender.
but I will fight you in a McDonald's drive-thru.
It was rough.
That's good. So that happened today.
Happened a scant 3 hours ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you say something to him?
No, because I was just pulling.
Oh, because it
was like
didn't
a
affect
last
you.
minute. Yeah.
Didn't affect you directly.
Well,
I
not
got
even
you.
that. Even if it didn't, I'll stick up for the little man.
Yeah.
But I was already halfway around him, and
Oh, yeah.
it was a whole thing. So I was
Right.
like, I'm not going to block everybody to get out and
Right.
call this dude out.
Yeah.
I
Just
did
get
give him
out.
a glance from the back of my truck, like an unapproving.
Just get out and
Look,
kick
kids.
his side view mirror off.
Yeah. Whoops. Had you not been there.
Oh, man.
You got anything else to cover tonight? I think we kind of got it caught up. We should be.
This is a catch-up episode.
Yeah. And, I think we're back to our regular scheduled
Yeah,
program.
back to your regular programming.
So you can look forward to this happening on
And, it's all about everything getting back into a regular schedule. That's what's happening right now. Kids back to school, right? You're back in your office.
back to life, back to reality.
Back to the podcast.
So we'll see you again next week. Keep it on.
The Gooch Gooch, baby.
Bye-bye.